Hello, Yang and Jenny. Hi,
Hello.
hi. Okay, where are the boys? Here, let's give it with a couple of minutes. Hi, Justin. You know where yen is? Does anyone know where is yen? No? Hmm. Okay, we'll get started. Let's get started. Everyone, please turn on your camera so I can see you. Hey, very good. And Jenny, you're ready for your case, right? Okay, very good. And let's see. Next week, today we're going to cover chapter 4. Next week is going to be chapter 5. Right? Justin, you have chapter 5 and 6, right? Okay, so get ready to prepare your for your case. Okay, please. Hey, all right. Let's talk about the chapter. Let me share this with you. Hmm, Okay. Mhm. Okay, let's continue with our discussion on consumer experience, okay? Consumer side of the market and the other stages of experience that are more about the consumer experience. And the case, of course, is about consumer experience, the consumption experience of creative products. Okay, let's look at some this chapter, this picture here. Okay, let's look at the picture here. Here's some we have some bag, business bag, suitcase like, and gentleman's hat, banker's lamp, and then the Joyride. Maybe it looks like Six Flag or something. Have you been to Six Flag, anyone? Yeah. Do you like it? Yeah. Last time I went to Six Flag, it was the last one that will ever be. Last one ever. I'm never going back again. Okay. It's not it's not pleasant for me. I know my daughter and her friend, the kids really enjoy that. I didn't feel comfortable. So I'm not ever gonna be on that ride again. So, but anyway, for these for consumption of these products here, the left two, and the joyride on Six Flag, roller coaster, and are their the consumption experience, are they similar to each other? What do you think about the consumption experience? I would say this the business suitcase or a hat, a banker's lamp versus a ride on the roller coaster. Are they similar to each other in the consumption experience? What do you think? Anyone? Please.
I think the lamp and the hat are pretty similar
Hmm.
because it's like more of it's like an object that you can actually receive and it's yours versus the roller coaster ride, it's more of an experience.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Very good. All right. Any other thoughts? That's good. That's good. The on the head, the on the head and the suitcase, of course, you own it, you possession that, you have that, you can use it as a way to carry your important documents or banker's notes or money, whatever, right? And it has this utility value, right? The hat is the protection of your head or keep your head warm, or it also looks like a handmade, good looking, fashionable hat. Right? And the banker's lamp, on the other hand, it's also something that you have, in your office or on your desk, and also has the capacity, the utility value of providing the lights for you, the lighting for you, and also a piece of art. It's kind of piece of art, right? You can have a very simple light, simple light, and they can have a more sophisticated, high-end, decorated, expensive light, just as a piece of art. So you get to enjoy the utility value of lighting as well as appreciating something that's highly and artifact or crafted, a good craft from a master craftsman. Okay? And the joyride on the roller coaster is something that you want something very completely different stimulus, strong stimulus, and you know, uh, super excited, things like that. And you don't own that, you just experience that. You don't own the ride, you just experience that, or like, I don't know, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and that's it. Right? You see the consumption experience on something like a tangible goods versus on creative products, quite different. Right? We talk about the customer satisfaction or dissatisfaction with the product or the service or with the consumption. Okay? We talk about the what is this? How do they become satisfied? Okay, versus dissatisfied. It depends on the expected value you expect, and also the value you perceived. What do you actually perceived, right? If you have more than what you expect, you received more than what you expected, of course you're happy, you're delighted, right? If it's what you expect is more than what you perceived, because you are not that happy, okay? So what is then to study consumption experience, then we need to know what is the expected value, what's the perceived value, right? What determines, what are the determinants of expected value, right? That's what consumer study, consumer behavior study, focus on, okay? So what is the expected value? Expected value is a set of benefits that the consumers anticipate that the product will provide along with the corresponding sacrifices. Okay. What are the corresponding sacrifices? You buy the product, you buy the ticket to the ride in the roller coaster, and you spend the time to go shopping, and you spend time talking to your friend families about the product itself. They may tell you some always awful, or may say always exciting. Okay? It's a Six Flags, great experience. Right? So that's all the sacrifices you made. And then plus, you will get to experience the consumption, right? The benefits you anticipate versus what did the product provide, you know, that that's your expected value. But what are the determinants of expected value? What affects, why do you have that expectation? Why do people have that expectation in the first place? Right? That's what we're going to talk about this in this chapter. Basically, if you look at the expected value of a product or service by a consumer, right? It has some it's determined by two things: your motivations and your knowledge about that. Okay? Your knowledge could be knowledge about, say, the joy, right? Six Flags, right? Your motivations, how are you motivated to engage in that. Right? How excited are you about that? And your motivation actually derives from your desire and needs, because you have the needs and the desires, then you have the motivation to engage or to use to buy the product. Okay? Now, what determines your needs and desires? Right? Needs and desire, there are situational factors. Uh, there is the market actions by organizations. At Six, you may see the advertisement from Six Flags, where your friends and families may tell you about Six Flags experience. Okay? There are also your individual set characteristic that affect your needs and desires. Some people have more desires, some less desire. Yeah, right. And also on this side, the knowledge, your prior knowledge about the product and services has something to do with your expectations. Okay? And what constitutes your knowledge? It could be information about this or your belief about the product. Okay? That information belief is from based on your previous consumption experiences. Previous consumption, you may have been there once, you may have been there before when you were little, now you want to go back again. Okay? Or your pre-consumption experience. Before you purchase, you may have something that in mind, or something that you experienced, or something you knew, or something you heard. Okay, so all these will contribute to your needs and desires, and your information you have, and the beliefs you hold about the product and services, and that contribute to your motivations and your knowledge, and then that form all these form your expected value. That's what this theoretical model is about. Okay? Let's look at some of the components here and see how people or marketers in creative industry is doing that. Okay? Motivations. What's motivations? Are you a motivated person? Are you self-motivating? Do you have motivation to study, to get a degree? Or are you just, or just you're lying down and don't want to do nothing? Okay, sometimes we all have the tendency to be lying down and do nothing, just be lazy and comfortable. Okay, so what is motivation? Motivation is an inner drive to achieve an objective. It's an inner drive from our heart or from our mind or from your main consciousness to achieve an objective. A state of arousal that prompts individuals to act. And that's the motivation. If you're a motivated student, there's an inner drive in you that you want to achieve your goal, achieve objective by getting a degree, good grades in the courses, get degrees, get a job, and fulfill your lifelong expectations. Okay, it's a state of arousal. It makes you motivated, excited, to prompt you to do something. Okay, this drive arises from the perception or the sensation that there is a discrepancy between people's desired state and their actual state. There's a desired state, there's an actual state. There's a gap between the two. There's a discrepancy between the two, and you want to do better. Maybe you're from poor family, right? You know that your parents are struggling to make ends meet or to help you pay for college tuitions, okay? Or your family is not that rich, right? You want to change that, and you know education is one of the ways to change that, okay? So there is a desired state, you want to change to a better lifestyle. There's an actual state that you're not in that state, okay? And you want to do something, to achieve that, okay? That's motivation. Okay. Motivations, the causes behind motivations can be grouped together into two broad areas, two causes. What causes people to have certain motivations, right? There are two causes there, right? That can be grouped into two areas. One is the needs, one is the desire. Okay? Your need and your desire. What are your needs? We all have some needs, right? We all have needs. The needs are the discrepancies between consumers' current state and their desired state, which are rationally perceived and dealt with as problem to solve, right? It's kind of your secondary process thinking. Okay? It's a secondary process thinking. Okay? You need something. You need to get a car. You need to buy a book. You need to get a degree. You need to get a house. You need, get married. Okay? You need to get a job. Okay? That's your need, right? And there, you heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Yeah, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay? In Maslow's theory, there's people have this, basic physiological needs, and then they have safety needs, right? And then they have a social needs, then have a self-actualization need, recognition, self-actualization. Okay. But for that, as practitioners, we have our own, set of thinking, set of needs, right? We probably put the less emphasis on physiological or basic needs in life, but we are pursuing something higher, self-actualization or cultivation. Okay? That's needs. And then there's a desire. Desires are the mechanisms closer to instinctive impulses, center on the search for pleasure and immediate satisfaction. That's our desire. People have that desire. Okay? There's mechanisms very close to your instinctive impulses, okay? And center on the search for pleasure, okay? For pleasure, joy, and for immediate satisfaction. Okay? It is based on your primary process thinking. Okay? That's the two factors affecting people's motivation. Okay? Also, what affects motivation, it depends on your individual characteristics. Individual characteristics. What type of individual characteristics give rise to consumer motivations? Okay? Demographic is one. Demographic, age, genders, and everything, things like that. Okay? Resources you have could be money, could be other sources, right? Connections, resources. Your value system. What do you think? What do you deem is a valuable? Or what's the most important in life that you think in your mind or in your value system? Okay, in your view of the world, and in the lifestyles you have, or you choose to have, or you aspire to have. Okay? Also with the involvement of this product in your life. Okay? And then there are also the psychological factors. Okay, psychological factors. Let's look at some of them here. Okay, first is demographics. What's the demographics? The factors which characterize a consumer, in a specific stage of their life, and basically coincide with all the information included on your ID, on your ID card, your age, gender, physical traits, your height, your weight, example from your color of your eyes, your address, and marital status, okay, things like that. Okay, so that's demographics. Okay, and your resources affect your motivation. Your resource, your economic, is not just economic resources. Okay? How much money does your family or you have? Okay, your economic, social status. Okay, symbolic and cultural capital. There's symbolic and cultural capital. And also temporal resources. With temporal resources, how much time you have. Some people are busy, struggling to just get ends meet. Some people have a lot of resources. They can have more time off. They have to take vacations, 3, 4 times a year. The others may have to work hard all year long, right? They're temporal resources. There's also time is also a resource. Okay? Then there is a values, your value system or your view of the world. Okay? Values, they are the terminal values, they are the instrumental values. Okay? What is the terminal values? For the end state, as freedom, love, beauty. Those are your terminal values, okay? Our terminal values in the state. Freedom, love, and beauty. Okay. And there are instrumental values. Instrumental value, that's the modes of conduct, different modes of conduct, such as financial security. What's your view on financial security? Okay. Some people may say, oh, I may need $500,000 a year, or I need $2 million in nest egg to retire. Right? That's their view of financial security. Others may say, oh, if I can make, I'll make like $35,000 a year, I'm happy. Or if I can get by, with a simple life, I'm happy. Imagination and also your social responsibility and all affect your values. Okay? Values. Okay? Also, the lifestyle, the AIO model of your lifestyle, your lifestyle affects you. That's your part of your individual characteristics and affects your motivation. Okay? What kind of activities do you do? And your work activity, your hobbies. And do you guys have any hobbies? What do you like to do? Come on, you can share with us. What do you like to do as a hobby? You have any? No hobbies? Gee, you guys are amazing. You gotta have some. Right? What do you like to do, really? If you have the enough money, enough time, you can do whatever you want. You like to enjoy doing. What be your hobbies? Hmm? Hmm?
Sleep.
Sleep, okay. Sleep, I wouldn't sleep is a hobby though. It's a necessity, right? You say you have to sleep. You probably are not sleeping enough, right? That's why you think it's something you really want to do. I understand that. My students are all, felt that they have a sleep deprivation there. What be your hobbies? What do you like to do? Do you have any?
Read.
Read? Okay, that's a good one. Reading. Okay.
If
Yeah.
sleep is a necessity, then I suppose napping could be a hobby.
Napping is wait a minute. Napping is sleeping too, right? You take a nap because you didn't have enough sleep, right? So it's while sleeping you have to sleep. I know some practitioners, some people they do exercise, meditation exercise very well, do a lot. They don't sleep much. But I'm not that good. I need to sleep. I think I need to sleep like 7 hours at least, 7.5 every day. Yeah, it's just, and if I sleep enough, 7 hours, 7.5 every day, I can stay awake and alert all day long. Then I don't have to take a nap. Okay? Some people prefer to have a nap in the afternoon or the noon time, and that's normal. Okay. What do I like to? What's my hobby? I like to travel. I want to travel. Travel to places and try different gourmet food. Different. Know people, get to know people. Right? And music is my hobby. I play some instruments, several music instruments. I'm in my office right here, downstairs in my basement. Next to me, I have a huge piano there, a huge 7-foot piano. I can play with. It's not good, but just love to play. Okay, yes. And others, among others. Okay, hobbies. Okay, that affects your motivation in life and in your view of the world. Okay? Your social events, right? Your social events do you participate? Vacation, entertainment, club membership, belonging to a certain clubs, okay? Communities, even your shopping activities, okay? Sports activities. Okay? Of course, we all practitioners. We all do our own do our exercises every day, okay? Hopefully. Okay? Your interests, your family, your home, job, community, recreation, fashion, that's your interest, food, interest in media, achievements, okay? Your opinions, That's part of your individual characteristics. Your opinions about yourself, ourselves. What do you think about for example, what do you think about the Biden administration? Okay, you may have your political opinions, right? What do you think about the Ukrainian Russian war that's ongoing right now? Okay, what do you think about the many other things? Okay, the social issues, on politics, on business, economics, education, product, future, and culture. Okay, and your demographics affect you. Right? And at your age, you're aspiring young college students. You have your dreams, you have your goals, you have that. And for me, I'm way past my college years, and of course, I don't think I'm needing more education. And I'm thinking more about doing something for using my expertise or my education and my background to help other students or help like what I'm teaching now. I'm helping Ph.D to achieve their educational objective. Okay? For income, occupation, family size, dwelling, geography, city size, people in large cities versus small cities, townships versus suburban areas, rural areas, they have different views, they have characteristics. Okay? And stages in your life cycle, stages in your life cycle. Okay. You're a teenager, when you're 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or retirement. So next one that affects your motivation is involvement. We're talking about high involvement versus low involvement. What is involvement? Involvement. Involvement is relevance that a person perceives of the object based on inherent needs, values, and interests. Involvement can be enduring or situational. Okay? Relevance that a person perceives of objects based on inherent needs, values, and interests. Okay? When we talk about the involvement in business, in marketing, we talk about, say, like when you purchase something, okay? Purchase something. When you purchase your cell phone, it's a high involvement purchase because it affects your what, right? It's based on what you like to have, your whether you can afford it or not. You want to know the functionalities, everything, because you're going to be using that, every day. Maybe spend too much time on it, every day for years to come. Okay, it's a high involvement purchase. Will be a low involvement purchase. Low involvement purchase. You're on campus, or you're at home, right? And you feel thirsty. You want to grab something, right? And grab something. Maybe you're on campus vending machine. You have choice. So you get Coke. You can have soda. You have juice. You have water. You have coffee. All the different things, right? When you have that things, you're thirsty, you want to drink something, you just go and grab it. You don't even think too much as to what I want. It's just something. Right? That's a low involvement purchase. Okay, high involvement versus low involvement. Right? Involvement can be enduring or situational. You're thirsty, you get something, then you forget about it. Okay, for a few hours. It's high involvement, something that you keep looking for. Maybe you're thinking or planning on your next car, the car you want to purchase, right? And maybe you're thinking or dreaming or expecting that after graduation with your own money, you want to buy the car that you always wanted, right? I remember one of my classmate, my classmate in my doctoral program. And it's an American girl, this girl, she said, we talked about the cars the other day, what kind of car to get. She said she wanted to get the Jeep Wrangler. I said, why? She said she just wanted a Jeep Wrangler, and she was a small little girl. She always liked the look, the feel about Jeep Wrangler. That's her enduring, involvement, with the purchasing something like a Jeep Wrangler. Okay. Then there's a psychological factors, your self-concept, the self-concept, the concept of yourself, your self-image, self-concept, right? Your life projects, your life project, what do you expect in life? What do you want to do, achieve? Yeah? And your personality type. Yeah, personality type. You probably notice the people around you in this, even in this class, some of you are more extroverted, some more introverted, some more resourceful, some less resourceful. Okay, okay. Some are more assertive, some less assertive. Okay, and some are more responsive, some less responsive. Okay, you notice that even among your friends, families, classmates, anyone. Okay, that's your personality type. That's all psychological factors. Okay? So, and also there is a situational context. Okay? Situational context. Basically, there's the macro context and micro context. Okay? What's in the macro context? General economic situation of the country or the area where the consumers lives. What do you think is the general economic situation of this country, of our country now? Do you have anything to have any idea about our economy right now?
No clue.
Cool. You don't even pay attention? Come on. Hey, you're a college student. Right? You should know. Excuse me. You should know at least, you don't have to be an expert in economics, but you know something about it, right? Basically, the biggest problem in the economy today is inflation. That you know, right? Affects you, right? Affects your parents dearly, right? And because every week when you go for grocery shopping, you're gonna spend on more money, okay? And the gas price, can put in your car, okay? And the price for housing, for cars, for dairy, eggs, meats, fish, seafood, everything, and clothing. Okay? Inflation is pretty bad nowadays. Okay? And also our national debt is pretty high. The U.S. government has incurred $31 trillion. You know how much is $1 trillion? That's a lot of money. $31 trillion. As a country, we generate about $22 trillion in GDP. That's how much wealth. But you know, $1 trillion is $1,000 billion. $1 billion is $1,000 million. $1 million, I'm sure you know millions, right? People are used to hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. Billionaire is rare. Trillionaire, we don't have any trillionaire yet. Okay, so that's a micro economic situation, all right, and the area where that's your macro context, technology development. And then you have your micro context, where consumers make their purchase and consumption choices, okay? Systems of laws and norms, and social structures, okay? That's your consumer in the middle, then there's your micro environment, then there's a macro environment, okay? This affects you, okay? Also, there are the market actions by marketing people, by companies, by organizations. Right? All the actions that organizations take into the market uh, can shape your consumer needs and desires. Right? When they launch a new product, right? For example, I think the Tesla, Tesla cars, right? Tesla, Elon Musk is launching a new. I think they just produced, ready to launch this Tesla truck. You ever seen Tesla truck? Yeah, it's very futuristic looking. It's like it's supposed to have a lot of features. Many people are looking forward to that. Okay, and that will stimulate consumers' needs and want desires for a new truck, Tesla truck. Okay, when they launch new product, when they're communicating to consumers, it's in advertisement mostly. In advertisement, they talk about this new offering, new product, new flavor of drink, new items on the McDonald's menus, right? Things like that. Changing prices. The price is either going up or going down, with a reduced price, attract you more. All those actions by by marketers, by companies, organizations, that all will shape your consumer needs and desires. Okay, needs and desires. And this in turn gives rise to motivations and value expectations because you have that the knowledge about the new product offerings, okay, and that stimulated your needs, either your needs or your desires, right? And that give you the motivations, and then you have your expectations, bad expectations, okay. This is the top part of this. What is the expected value of consumers consumption experience is from the motivations, needs, desires, situations, market reactions, and the individual's characteristics, okay. Now let's look at the bottom part, the knowledge, information, belief, pre-consumption, and the previous consumption. Okay. Knowledge, okay, your knowledge, consumers' knowledge consists of a set of information they have and the beliefs they apply when interpreting this information and making their consumption choices. You have this Elon Musk new trucks coming, like new truck, pickup truck coming out, right? And what do you know about it? And what do you know about that, right? And what's your belief about that? And first is your information about that, right? Then what do you believe of that, right? For me, for example, I know something about it. I know it's a new truck coming out, electric truck, right? And my belief about that, I think it's going to be probably going to be a hit. And many people are eagerly looking for it, okay? And very seems to be very powerful and very functional, highly functional. And my attitude towards it, though, I'm not going to buy it. I don't think I'm going to buy it. I'll probably never buy a truck. I never need to buy a truck. So even though it's nice, good product, okay, for me, my attitude is has nothing to do with me. Right? I don't think I have a desire to buy an electric car anytime soon because I have two cars. My wife has one, I have one, I have two. We have three cars. They're going to last for a while. So my wife may want to get a new car later on soon, but I'm not going to. So that's my attitude. Okay, knowledge. Your knowledge has includes your information, beliefs, and attitudes. Okay. More specifically, your information, the relevant information for creating value expectations, concerns product categories and the single product and brand that fall within those categories. Okay, that's your knowledge, your information. Consumers build categorization system based on stimuli from the environment to which they assign meanings. You heard about something about that? You assign meanings. Okay. What's in your beliefs? Your beliefs, that's associations linking this information together and associations connecting information to attitudes or judgments. Okay, that's knowledge. And then what can often be found in creative product categories are canons or standard of quality, okay, which distinguish one from the other in terms of genre, trend, movement, and style. Okay, different genres, different trends, different movements, and different styles. That's your beliefs. And then your attitudes. Consumers' knowledge included your attitudes. What is an attitude? What is the attitude? You all have different attitudes, right? I'm sure you all have attitude towards your school, towards your professors, towards your friend, family, towards something, some items, some social issues. You all have attitude. What is an attitude? How do you define attitude? Attitude is a positive or negative disposition towards an object. It's a predisposition toward an object. In our case, a product, a brand, a store, a website, or group, okay? Or a subject. It could be an object or subject. Subject would be an organization, a company, a seller, an information source. That's your subject, okay? Consumer attitudes arise from their prior experience of an object or a subject and consist in a combination of cognitive elements and affective elements. What is cognitive elements? That's your belief, right? The belief and knowledge, right? What's your affective elements? That's your emotions, affection, affective. Okay? Remember the two combinations here, right? Affective and cognitive. Okay? As to your individual characteristics, right? And some of the individual characteristics seems as seen as determinants of motivations are also applicable to knowledge. Okay, one is the product familiarity, relates to the number of interactions the consumer has with the product, either consuming it personally or hearing about it. Right? Because either hearing about it or it's using that yourself. Okay, how familiar you are with the product, and also with the product expertise. That's how much you know about the product. Okay, it centers on the breadth and depth of product knowledge available to the consumer. Okay? It's important to differentiate between these two because, well, it is true that the consumer has to be familiar with the product before becoming an expert. There's no guarantee that familiarity always leads to expertise. Okay? Just because you use that more very often, a lot more often, right? Doesn't mean you know the product well. Okay? Yeah. Some people may not use that that much, or may not be that familiar with that. So they could be an expert on that. Okay? So be careful, right? No guarantee that familiarity leads to expertise automatically. Okay? Um, yeah. Okay. And product expertise. Yeah, what is product expertise? Product expertise is useful to class consumers into three categories according to their degree of product expertise. You know, we in marketing, we actually categorize people into different uh, level of product expertise. Okay, each class differs widely in terms of information, attitude, and expectation of value with respect to the product in question. Okay, because some people, ordinary consumers, that's one category, the little expertise. There's a connoisseurs, high degree of expertise, and then there's consumer producers, with applied experience, highly engaged consumer producers. Right, ordinary consumers, they have little expertise. Right, they have a situational involvement with product only. They have minimal amount of knowledge. Right? Their attitudes are positive toward a limited number of products and brands. That's ordinary consumers. Right? Who are the connoisseurs? Connoisseurs, they have a high degree of expertise. Yeah, like someone say, for example, is expert on wines, right? On wines. They know all kinds of wines. They can take, they know if the wine's good or bad, from how old, what kind of grapes or other things that's being used to be produced wine. Is a French wine, American wine, or California wine, okay? And so that's the high degree of expertise and enduring involvement. They're highly involved in those kind of things, okay? And they have deep knowledge. That's what they call it, connoisseurs. Right? Consumer producers, they have applied experience. They're highly engaged. Their expertise help with the producers, the makers. Okay? That's product expertise on the individual. And personal experience. Your personal experience affects your motivation. Your personal experience, right? The source of much of what consumers know and believe comes from their previous consumption experience. And previous consumption experience leads to your personal experience, right? By using the product, you generate new information and slot it into their previous knowledge. This is the way to enrich the knowledge, both in terms of variety, the breadth of knowledge, and the detail, the depth of knowledge. You later on you probably noticed, like for example, I have several friends, a couple of them, they're really into cars. They have a great amount of knowledge about cars, different cars. If I think about the new car to buy or a car to lease, I'll talk to them about this. Okay, talk to them about it. Yeah. The consumption experience broadens and deepens consumer knowledge. You have more consumption experience, it broadens and deepens your consumer knowledge, right? In such a way that every new experience can leverage on the learning accumulated through prior experience. This means that the value expectations change. Your value expectations change according to how much prior experience the consumer has. Okay? That's your personal experience, has impact on your expectations, and your value expectations do change, right? Do change over time. Okay? Next is your pre-consumption experience. And pre-consumption experience. Every consumer, beyond recalling information from personal memory, can also activate a process involving information search from external sources. Okay, when you buy something, you purchase a ticket to show, you enjoy a sports event, you ask for a lot of help or get information from your friends and families, right? From external sources. Look at the consumer report, look at the reviews, right? This process constitutes the pre-consumption experience, which calls for investments in temporal, cognitive, and emotional resources. And it represents an abundant source of sacrifices because you have to spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, even money to get those access to those external sources. Okay? External sources can be classified according to their origin and intent. Okay? As far as the origin sources are personal, okay? When the supply information is by direct contact, or impersonal, okay? Personal or impersonal. The impersonal is the source information you get through intermediary. Based on the intent, there are the commercial versus non-commercial sources. Yeah? Either commercially available sources or non-commercial sources. Okay, so here is the source of information. Okay, source of information you get it on pre-consumption experience. Source of information you get it from personal channel or impersonal channel. Right, the intent could be commercial by business organizations or non-commercial. Okay? Sales staff of organizations can be considered like a personal and commercial. Right? Advertising, events, packages, and stores are impersonal and but also commercial. Okay? Personal information, source of personal information from your friends, family, other consumers, consumption communities, they are personal, but they're non-commercial. They're not trying to sell you something. They just want to provide you the information. Right? And then there is an impersonal and non-commercial source, such as expert opinions, critics, mass media, specialized media, consumer forums, public bodies, third parties. Those are impersonal and non-commercial. Okay? Now I'll talk about the consumer knowledge, right? Information search plays two complementary roles here, okay? And knowledge, your knowledge about the product, okay? One is to build a set of information that serves in decision making, emerges primarily from the search for utilitarian value. Okay, a set of information when you search for utilitarian value. Okay, that's one role information search plays. The other role is to prefigure the value that the consumption experience will provide. It emerges primarily from the search for hedonic, ethical, and communicative value. We will search for hedonic, ethical, and communicative values, and that's a prefigure of the value that you part of your experience. This complementarity also helps organizations to understand the complexity involved in transforming the information consumers collect into knowledge that they can utilize in subsequent stages of the experience. Right? This process is made out in the following stages, basically about consumers' information or the processing of the source of information they receive. First is exposure. You have to be exposed, or you have to be exposed to the product or to the product knowledge, right? And that's exposure is first one. And second, even if you are exposed, you saw the advertisement, you must pay attention to it, or it has to get your attention, and we get attention to it, right? And second, thirdly, you have to have a comprehension. You see your advertisement, you get exposure, it gets caught your attention, you're looking at the advertisement. Sometimes you have experienced that. Sometimes you don't even care to understand it. You don't want to know what it is about. You don't care, right? It doesn't bother you. It doesn't affect you. Right? You have to have the intention to comprehend it, understand it. Right? And then after you understood the message, right, there's the issue of whether you're accepting the message. Right? The message could be that something that you didn't believe, contradictory to your beliefs, or is irrelevant. Right? So you could accept it or reject it. That's acceptance. And then there's a retention. That is, the message is, even if it's accepted, it could retain in your memory or just disappear. Okay? So that's the knowledge, through to you. Okay? We give example of this online flow experience. Online flow experience. You heard about flow? Do you guys how much time do you spend online every day? Your screen time. Let's say your screen time. Give me some numbers. Be honest. You're okay. I'm not gonna punish you for this. Your time spent on your cell phone, your iPad, your computers, they're all called screen time, right? How much
Very
time
many
do you spend?
hours. A lot of hours. A lot of hours.
Like how many?
It varies.
Very on average. I say on average. How many hours do you spend?
Hours?
How many?
6 hours?
6 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the others? Yen. What about yen? How many hours do you spend on average? Only 6 for Justin? What about the ladies? Yang and Jenny?
Probably around like 2 to 4.
Only 2 to 4? Wow, really? Ah. What about Yang? I'll be honest with you. I probably spend more than 6 hours, maybe 7, 8 hours a day. Well, for one, that's my job, I only teach, like, for example, during tomorrow, I'm going to school and teach my class. Right? I only teach one face-to-face class. That's only 1.5 hours face-to-face with my students. The other time, I'm spending on computer. If you don't count computer, you just look at cell phone and iPad, I probably spend 2 hours. If your computer is included, that's definitely more than 6, 7, 8 hours. Okay, so that's just me. Okay, but anyway, when you spend time online, okay, there's an experience called online flow. Okay, online flow. You heard about the term flow? Okay, that's something actually quite could be dangerous. I think be careful with that. Okay, online flow. What is the flow? Right, flow. Online flow can be experienced when consumers are highly focused on the interaction at hand. Highly focused on the interaction at hand. They're hooked to it. They're engaged in there. They're hooked to it. Right. The skill that the interaction demands gives consumers a sense of a challenge. It's like playing video games. Yeah, video games, online games. They feel that there's a challenge. They want to conquer somebody, conquer a country, get some secret sword, or a secret woman, or a secret castle, become the king, or become the winner. They get that. They get a sense of challenge. And both of these factors are more intense than typical daily activities. That's why they're hooked. They're hooked to it. They're hooked to the screen. Right? Online flow is activated by sensorial richness or vividness of the stimuli. Sensory richness is very rich. You can see, you can hear, and you can, even sometimes you can even feel it. They have this experience to make it thing shaking or moving. Okay? Vividness of stimuli, okay? In terms of quantity and quality, as well as the level of the interactivity that the environment allows. Okay? You heard about the metaverse? Anyone? Metaverse? You have? Yeah. What do you think of metaverse? It started by Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, right? Zuckerberg of Facebook. He started metaverse. I think Facebook spent a lot of money. I think he lost lots of money on that. He spent too much money on that, and he's not achieving the goal he expected. So that's too bad, right? So, and I think the metaverse could be dangerous because it isolates people. It got people hooked to it, attracted to it, and hooked to it, and you live in the artificial, reality, virtual reality, an artificial environment. You get disassociate or detached from human world. And they once they control the information that's provided to you or fed into your brain, you're controlled by them. Okay? So I think that's something very dangerous. It's just my opinion. Okay? The purchase experience. Okay? In this stage, consumers choose the specific product they want to experience and eventually buy the product. Okay? To come to the final decision, they consider various options along with choosing what to buy. Those decide when to buy, where to buy, and how to make the purchase, and how much time they want to spend, and how much they want to buy. Okay? So the purchase experience can be broken into two, the choice experience and shopping experience. Choice experience and shopping experience. With the choice experience, evaluating product options equates to comparing various alternatives. Yeah, looking at choose your product. Yeah, choose your final product on the basis of certain criteria that you set. Right. The comparison process consists of three components here. When you choose a product to choose the final product to buy, you establish the evaluation criteria and you define the evoked set. You judge on the individual options. Yeah. Let me give you an example here. When I bought my first new car, that was in 1991. 1991, when I got a job, I got my first new car. Okay, which car do I want to get? Which car should I get? Okay, it affects me because my choice, before that first new car I bought in 1991, I bought a 1992 Toyota Camry, and that's my first job. Before I bought that, I had some evaluation criteria in my mind because before that car, I had three cars. I had three cars, old junk cars, very bad in the cars. all died on me, right? All died on me, and I spent a lot of money as a student, graduate student, I mean college student, and I didn't have money, and didn't have much money, and the repair cost, it was so high, prohibitively high. So I was really struggling then. Yeah. So in my opinion, most important thing for me is the dependability of the car. I want the car to be trouble-free, as trouble-free as possible, lasting long, many hours, many years, right? So I searched. So quality, dependability of the car is the most important criteria. And then I defined my evoked set. I searched for cars, brand name of cars, the make of cars, the makers, see which one can be the one that I want to choose. Finally, I found that the Mercedes-Benz is of pretty good quality, Toyota and Honda. And but Mercedes is too expensive for me. Toyota turned out to be the one. And Toyota, I want a Camry. And so I judged from my individual options, it came out with my choice experience. Okay. So in choice experience, establishing your evaluation criteria, how the consumer take into account the benefits, sacrifices, and features. Right? There is a means end theory, yeah, in that. Right? Basically, so for me, for example, I did that. I had my belief. I had my sacrifice that I paid for the car. I think it was $18,000 back then, for my first new car. Okay? And how did I make that choice? Right? Means and the theory about this. Means and theory says that in their memories, consumers associate attributes with benefits and sacrifices, and in turn connote all these with values in a map or hierarchical means and connections. Your means and your end, your result connections. Such connections can be represented on what is called the hierarchical value map. So that's what they use, using that means and theory to come up with your final decision. Okay? The shopping experience, choice experience. In choice experience, what alternatives do consumers consider? What alternative do you consider? The one that make up your mind is your evoked set. What is evoked set? Yeah. Let's say you want to get a new car, right? You're going to graduate in a couple of years. You want to buy a car. You get a job. You want to buy a car, right? When you buy a car, let's say you want to buy a car. What are the brand names, the brands or the makes of the cars that come to your mind? I don't know about you. Maybe you want to buy a Tesla, right? Or you want to buy a Honda or Lexus. Yeah, I talk about this, right? Or Mercedes. Yeah. The brand names, the makers that come to mind first is your evoked set. Right? That's group products, brand, and point of sale, physical virtue that they consider capable of satisfying your needs. The evoked set. Okay. In consumers' evoked set, there is information related to a very limited number of product brands and stores that they have pre-selected based on their prior pre-consumption and consumption experience. Right? Consumers apply evaluation criteria to these products, then come up with the final choice. Okay? For me, it was Toyota Camry, 1992 Toyota Camry, yeah, and costing me $18,000. Okay? Judging the individual options. The choice process involves taking into account the assessment of very single attribute to come to a preference for one product option, which is the basis for choice. This process combines both cognitive and affective aspects. Okay? There's a cognitive aspects, there's affective aspects of that. Okay? Shopping experience. Your shopping experience consists of your interaction with the physical context, with the stores, and in the case of offline shopping, or virtual environment, in case of e-commerce and online shopping. Yeah, the aim of purchasing your preferred product. the shopping experience has two different roles here, right? The first one is goal-directed and utilitarian. And that is in making a purchase, you have your goal, right? And you're searching for something to meet your utilitarian needs. Okay. The second aspect is experiential. Okay? They provide hedonic, symbolic, and communicative value beyond what the product in question offers. So this role is not goal-oriented. It's experiential oriented. Okay? So the shopping experience, the complexity of shopping experience can be seen from the degree of the newness of the product, the weakness of the attributes, attitudes, the level of involvement, the perceived risk, the number type of purchase roles, and the complexity of the purchase experience that could be low or high. Okay. Finally, so basically the post-consumption experience also affects your satisfaction and your expected value. Okay. Your experience, your satisfaction or dissatisfaction, post-consumption experience will have impact on your future purchase. Okay. The variable that has the most impact on this stage is the degree of satisfaction after the consumption takes place. Right? Depending on whether this is a positive or negative, you may have a positive experience or a negative experience. The consumer is more or less likely to adopt a certain behavior, such as what? So you have something, you're happy with your purchase, okay? You use it, you like it, you love it, you're happy with it, then you're more likely to engage in what? Word of mouth, tell other people about it. Product sharing with other people about it, okay? And the repeat purchase, you're gonna buy it again, you buy it again and again. In fact, after I purchased my first Toyota Camry, I bought, let me see, I bought two more Toyotas, another Toyota Camry afterward, after like 220,000 miles, 20 years, about 15 years on that. Okay? And then another Toyota, not Camry. Next time it was Toyota Sienna, it's a minivan. Okay, you can see that's my experience. Also, if your experience is not satisfactory, there's a dissatisfaction. What would you do? You complain about it, right? You badmouth about it, right? Tell other people how bad it is. It happens, right? And you're never going to repeat the purchase. Yeah. So that's a post-consumption experience, also affecting consumers' expected value. Okay? I think that's all I have for this chapter. Okay? The material is kind of dry, but yeah, that's okay. Let me exit this. We'll close this. Let me stop sharing that. Okay, Jenny, you ready? Okay, let me make you the presenter. Okay. The floor is yours. Well, the magic, huh? Have you heard about a guy named Shin Lin? Have you heard of Shin Lin? There's a Chinese guy, Chinese American guy. I think it's in either in New Jersey or California, Shin Lin. And he did some magic trick. I think it was so good. I think he has supernormal ability. You know, search Shin Lin on YouTube, you find some of his tricks, really amazing, really amazing.
Um,
Okay.
you can hear me, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay. My case study this week is Magic: The Gathering, an all-around experience. So, what is Magic: The Gathering?
I can't hear anything. Do you guys hear anything?
Do you hear anything?
No.
Oh, that's unfortunate. This is like a very good intro.
Oh,
Um, wait,
uh, wait a minute. Is there the volume's up? Hmm.
do you hear
What's
anything?
I don't. Do you guys hear anything? Do you hear the sound?
Hi, I'm Jimmy, and if you've ever wondered,
Here we go.
You hear it?
Yeah, now yeah. You're gonna
Now there's
start.
closed captions too.
is Magic the Gathering? Then I'm here to answer that. In Magic the Gathering, you take on the role of a planeswalker, a powerful mage that collects the magical energy from the land around you and uses that mana to summon mighty creatures. Creatures that fly, creatures that breathe fire, creatures that kill anything they touch, and cast devastating spells. Spells that destroy your opponent's creatures. Spells that make your creatures more powerful. Even spells that tip the whole game in your favor. So how do you play? Well, Magic the Gathering is a collectible card game. Buy cards, play with them, collect them, and trade them. There are 5 different colors of Magic cards, and each color handles things a little differently, so you can choose what kind of Planeswalker you want to be. Maybe you like smashing your opponents in with giant creatures, or maybe you like controlling what your opponent can and can't do, or maybe you just want to burn it all down and run away with a devastating victory. Magic is customizable to how you want to play the game. Magic is also constantly evolving. It doesn't just take place on one world, it spans a multiverse filled with rich environments and diverse inhabitants. Each new card set visits one of these places. And as your collection grows, each new set also adds more creatures and spells to your arsenal and gives you new strategies to fight your opponents. Check below the video for more info on the best way for you to start playing Magic.
So basically, it's a card game.
Have you played it?
No, I've never played it, but it seems like those types of things where,
Mm.
um, uh, I don't know. Anyways, so let's go into a bit of history. It was first released in 1993 by Richard Garfield, who was a math professor.
Mhm.
He designed it to be portable, economical, and easy to play. Sorry. It is actually inspired by baseball cards, and it was intended to be played during game conventions, which were very popular during the 1990s
Mm.
because it's easy to set up. So at these conventions, they'd be playing things like Dungeons and Dragons, and then in between at the breaks or whatever, you could just play this card game, and it'd be very fast and easy.
Mhm.
So its effects on the market were it was actually launched by Wizards of the Coast, a company who also published Dungeons and Dragons, which you may or may not have heard of. It's the name is pretty famous, anyways. And so it was published by someone, like a company who already published something that was pretty well known. And it was the first trading card game to appear on the global market. So now there's things like Pokemon. Pokemon cards are very popular now, but this was apparently the first one. And it created a new product category in the game market. So after a few years, now over 20 billion Magic cards were produced from just from 2008 and 2016. And as of 2018, there are 35 million fans and players around the world. And now it's available across many digital platforms. Like you can get it on your computer, iPad, Android, whatever, PlayStation, yeah, stuff like that. And it's even been likened to a cult following. Like it's a very tight-knit community. So it's like, yeah, it's like its own community. Like, oh, are you part of this community? No, I'm not. Okay, then go away, you know. It's like that. Sorry. And it also creates it creates an opportunity to socialize, and it brings people of different ages and lifestyles together. So its original marketing strategy when it first came out. Sorry.
We're gonna get some water. We'll get some water if you need.
I don't have any water nearby. So.
Water.
Um, its original marketing strategy. Sorry, actually.
Okay. Take a pause. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry about that.
We got something. Yeah, finally, yeah.
It's, its initial marketing strategy was to create this era of exclusivity around a small circle of professionals. So even though it's like a very tight-knit community now, they tried to make it like a super tight, like it was just the professionals. And what they thought it would do was enhance product awareness because people would think it's cool and attract amateur players and increase card sales. And so they commercialized it through mass distribution channels like newspaper stands, supermarkets, and toy stores. However, it didn't work out the way they thought it would. What actually happened was new players were intimidated and turned off because like the pro players, they would make it seem like as you can kind of tell from the intro, like there's so many different cards and there's like so many different like settings, and it's just really complicated. Even for me, if I listen to it now, I actually feel like it would be too intense to get into. So apparently it was even more so at the time. So new players were intimidated and did not get interested.
Mhm.
So they changed to a new strategy. This new strategy was instead of selling the product like the cards, they tried to focus more on creating an experience. And they went from a niche market, like a niche community through mass channels to a massive market, like they target like a lot more through niche channels, like through, you'll see later, through their the shops. And they created a full branded play entertainment experience. So it's like a full experience you'll see like from, yeah, you'll see in a moment. So they went from selling the product to an experience. So their focus went from professional players to amateur players. And they hosted international competitions and shop activities in order to oh wait, sorry. I have some notes here on the last slide. So specifically, no, wait. It is on this one. Sorry, it is on this page. Sorry. Then, sorry. Um, the international competitions and shop activities. So the niche channels was like the shop activities. The shops became like the center of the gaming experience. The company increased resources for trade marketing and retail support teams. Like specifically, the trade marketing handled creating and delivering promotional and communication materials to the stores, and the retail support offered coaching. So it just kind of increased the interaction between the store and the company and the players. So in addition to sharing best practices and providing consulting services, this team also dealt with communication and promotion for in-store activities. So the company was trying to enhance the appeal of the network for potential member stores by guaranteeing higher sales, not only on cards, but on the entire product assortment. And yes, and it turned out this new strategy was a huge success. And so another thing they added a lot of were events. So the events were basically the heart of the consumer experience. It was like the most important thing, because what's the point of really becoming so good at playing cards if you have nowhere to like show your skills, right? So
Right.
at these events, it included there was like so many events. There was like a whole list. It included like beginner level, like amateur, pro, stuff like that. An example would be the World Championships, which had a $1 million prize pool. So, you know, there's incentive.
Wow.
And it creates an opportunity to socialize and encompasses both the pre-consumption, purchase, and consumption experiences. And it just in 2012, in Europe alone, there were 176,000 events and 72,000 new players signed up to participate. That's how big of a deal these events are.
Mhm.
So the post-consumption experience, like even like when they're not actively doing events or whatever, they still can meet on forums and blogs, because it's like it's created this community where they even want to talk about it and just like discuss things, and you feel like your community. And yeah, so it provides a chance for various actors in the community to interact, such as the amateurs can like consult the professionals, and the events have judges who are also very familiar with everything in order to judge, you know. Okay, time for the questions. What did not
So,
work with Wizards'
can
initial?
I ask a question, Jenny? Jenny,
Yes.
did you in your research or did you find how do they determine if someone like a player is amateur to professional? Do they have tests or
Yes,
certification
they have
process?
various. There's like it
How do
seems
they get
like
that? How do they attain that? I mean,
um well, I think by professional it just means like they win competitions. So
mhm,
if you can win enough competitions to make money, then you're professional,
mhm. So
I guess.
okay,
I think.
okay, okay.
I
All right.
just saw a list of like, yeah, so I didn't really see if there was some kind of certification. Oh,
Mhm,
I know there's like some kind of pro league. So I know, oh yeah, yeah, there's a pro league. And in
mhm,
order to get that into there, you have to be like at a certain skill level. Yeah.
okay, okay, very good.
So what did not work with Wizards? Sorry, I forgot to take out the there. There's a error. Wizards' initial marketing strategy.
They were more targeted towards the professionals and made it a more niche market.
Yeah, is that right?
Is anyone else gonna guess or no? No? Okay. Well, it didn't work because they targeted like professionals, yes, like Yang said, and it created this sense of intimidation for other people, so it didn't attract new players, and that was a big problem. Yeah.
Mhm. The niche is too narrow. The niche market is too narrow, too small a segment to target. Okay.
Okay, so today events play a major role in Wizards' marketing strategy. How do they affect the experience of different targets of players?
Advanced players can test their skills while beginner players can learn from the more advanced players.
Anyone else? No? Okay. So yeah, sorry. The events are like he said, like beginners can learn. It kind of helps create the community as well. So beginner players can interact with professional players. Professional players, like he said, can test their skills, and it also just you know, what was it? Sorry. Um, yes, and it gives it also gives beginner players like a chance to experience what the community is like. And yes, I think it's just mostly a chance for interaction between the various actors. Yeah.
Mhm. So basically the consumer become part of the producers, right? In the experience. Remember we talked about consumer producer experience. So yeah, they engaging in the consumers and in helping to make the product more attractive or more fascinating, more user friendly. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay.
Okay. How did Wizards include deck building in the different stages of the experience? By that, I mean like include selling their product, which is the cards.
Mhm. Do they buy the same thing or like amateurs versus professional? Did they buy the same set of cards or they had their newer cards or more advanced level cards or you
I
know what I
think this
mean?
is like one of those things where you buy a pack of cards and they have like 10 random ones, and some of the good cards are like super rare. So you just, if you're lucky, you get it. If you're not, you might buy like 100 packs and then you get one good card, something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Anybody?
Hmm. So I think that by randomly offering this, they kind of like create a market demand for more cars. So it kind of like attract you or lure you into buying more and more cars in order to get a complete set for themselves. Is that what they're doing?
I think that's part of it. And also just at
Mm.
these events, because it's a social event, when you see other people have certain cards, then you'll want those cards too, especially if they use it well. And then it's like building on each other. Like it's like I see you have something, so I want it too. And then that like I feel like if you just played in a very like at home or whatever, you wouldn't have the incentive to really get more cards because it just works. But you would want to get more cards if you wanted to beat certain people or become better, or if you see other people have certain cards, or if the events, for example, if they pushed some like special card, you would want to get it. And then that's just at events. And also at the store, I feel like the store also plays a very central place because the store apparently they host events and it's a store so you can buy the cards. So it's just very convenient that you can just buy the cards there, especially if you need something on the spot.
And they trade the cards with each other, right? They trade.
I think that's if you want to trade.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's another way to um interact, yeah.
Yeah. Interact and yeah. I think I saw some student at playing that in the student activity center in my school. They're sitting there just like the picture you show where players sitting facing each other, a lot of cars, and I didn't know how they played it, but it seems to be simply something similar to this one. You see this is really basically they create a market for themselves with the one product. The math professor creating entire new product lines, getting like hundreds of thousands of people involved worldwide, and they get more sponsors, get more sales. They could afford a award of $1 million. That's a huge industry, huge company, huge business they created. So that's seems to be very successful, huh? That's good for them. But you guys do not play. Do you guys play anything like that? No. Probably not a good habit to have. So, but hey, we have all kinds of people in the society, all kinds of hobbies, all kinds of activities. Some are good, some bad, some are addictive, some are just really nonsense. But hey, you heard about the Beanie Babies? Do you know what a Beanie Baby is? Yeah. Actually, I know that's 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was crazy thing to collect those Beanie Babies. They sell those Beanie Babies, they trade those Beanie Babies. They're speculating, saying this baby, Beanie Baby, they're like a little dinosaur, little rabbit, little anything, little tiger. And they said this one is rare. There's a rare one. There's only a limited edition. They sell, and you have to buy it, and then you collect it and save it, and it turned out to be it's just a hoax. And a lot of women, like housewives, women, they got hundreds of Beanie Babies in their basement. They couldn't sell, so somebody made money, right? Somebody made money, big money on that, but it was just a fad. It's a fad. It came and go and went, and that's it. So this is an interesting case. Yeah, interesting case. Yeah. And I think this is still ongoing, right? It's still hot, still going on. So we'll see how it goes. And how it goes. Okay, very good. Any more questions? No.
Johnny Apple, take out the Johnny Appleseed.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Jenny. That was there's another excellent presentation. Thank you very much for that. And good job. You earned your 100 points on the A on that on both of them. That's good. Great. Okay. So next week we have Justin for chapter 5 and 6, and we'll keep going. All right. Okay. Do you have any questions, comments, praises for Jenny? Let's give her a round of applause. How about that? Good job. Yeah. All right. Okay. If no questions or comments, okay, that's it for the day. Thank you, guys. I will see you next week.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.